all this shit, nonsense, transgender, kids dressing up like animals, peeing in fucking litter boxes. It's all a distraction and part of the dehumanization process that is designed to enslave each and every single one of us. We were talking earlier about, a lot of people just kind of being numb to all the crazy stuff. Something that we would just think was such a huge deal, like handing over $80 billion of artillery to a terrorist group. That back in the 90s, that would have been a year-long conversation. But in the craziness today, that lasted, 2 weeks?
And they found ways to ignore it, right? Because remember, people were livid and they were pissed off because a lot of people had people who died in Afghanistan, right? But the minute, like you said, the minute that we really started bearing down on them, what did they do? They just came out with these stupid mandates out of nowhere because they just knew that was going to cause more energy. That was just going to divert energy instantly,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So and that's what that's their strategy, right? That's the strategy that they're using to basically normalize the chaos and get people to be numb to it, so then they don't really necessarily fight back. If you think back, just it wasn't long ago when things really started. That's when all the protests and the riots and different things really started happening, because it was like people were like, no, I want my freedom. But then the way the governments handled it, they came in with brute force. They prosecuted to these few people to the maximum degree for nothing, which basically just scared the shit out of the majority, the vast majority, to the point where nobody wants to go out and protest anymore. Nobody wants to stand up for their freedom or even say anything, because they don't want to spend the rest of they don't want to spend 3 years in fucking prison for just standing around hanging out at the White House while other people did shit.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also just the idea that, like you said, I think it's just one of those things where it's like people are people feel a certain way, but I also feel like you said, it's just the idea that people don't have the full picture. I think that far too many people think that there's just something else that's going to happen. That there's just something else that's going to bring everything back to normal.
Right. They still have that kind of hopeful thinking that Trump is going to get in 2024 and make things better. They still have hopeful thinking that the Republicans are going to get in the midterms or whatever and save the day. But they're not, they're not seeing the full picture. The thing is, if you don't see the full picture, then you're not going to recognize the urgency of what is happening until it's too late. You need to recognize that what is happening is going to affect every single human on this planet. Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, what religion you are, what your personal opinions are. Doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. At the end of the day, each one of us has to acknowledge and take full fucking responsibility for our own lives.